Good morning. This is the Elliott Wave weekly update for gold, silver, and platinum, being recorded on Sunday, September the 14th at 10:40 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I'm going to start here with gold, and I'm on my maximum chart, maximum monthly chart. And again, just to kind of give a quick review, I'm counting it out as a cycle degree third wave now. So we have cycle one, cycle two, complete, cycle one completing in 1980. So these are very long term moves in terms of that degree. Now, within it, we're subdividing and subdividing many times as this third wave just continues to progress, and it just continues to show the power that's kind of behind and what's still left to do within gold. So let me bring it down right out of that and come down to the five. Actually, I should be able to get more than that. Let me go here. That's the one. So on this one, this is actually my 20-year weekly chart. And so I can show the breakdown. So what we have is within this cycle third wave, we have five waves of primary degree, of which only one and two are complete. And then we start to subdivide. And I mean, this is subdivided once, twice, three times, four times, five times. But actually, we're going to leave it at four because that's where it's finishing up now. So I got to continue to break it down, but I just wanted to show you that yes, this is the breakdown. Subdivide first, subdivide second, subdivide third, subdivide fourth. So four subdivisions within this primary third wave, three subdivisions within the intermediate third wave, four subdivisions, three subdivisions within the minor, and then two within the minute. So I believe we're getting very close to finishing up with Minuet Wave 5, and I'm going to bring this down again, now down into here so we can take a look. There is Minute Wave 1 and 2, Minor 2. So here we start. There's the first, we're subdividing in Minute Wave 3. And then we have the first, which is in the minuet degree. And then we got in this fifth wave, it is also subdividing up. So what I can count so far within Minute Wave 3 is that minuet waves one, two, three, and four. Four was in a nice triangle pattern, and we broke out of it. We did thrust up and out of that triangle pattern. And so now I can bring this down, bring it onto the daily chart, and now we can take a look inside that move. So again, last week we did break above 3,700, the high being 3715.20. And so pulling back in a sub-minuet fourth wave, and it could be done, but I'm leaving open the potential that we have still a little bit more. And our first marker remains at 3,629. And then 382 is 35,076. So I think that the market remains in fairly great condition. So it's not dipping down so far, but still very strong condition to continue to rise. Now, the alternate would be is that we have one, two, three, four, five. That still works out just to be three, but somehow it works out to be this is the third, four, and the fifth, and we have that coming up there as the minuet fifth wave, which would then produce a little bit larger pullback. Because if we finish this minuet fifth, then what we're also finishing behind it is the minute third. So what we have here, we have minute wave three. The next level is 3835, but you can see, look at the multiplier here. That's very high, 4.236 for this 3835. Not impossible though. I got to tell you, not impossible as we see as all of these waves continue to extend. Now, normally within gold, we're finding, and actually in a lot of the precious metals, it is within the fifth wave that the market really begins to accelerate and get extended. So instead of like normally like in an equity market and in the bond market and stuff like that, we find that it's the third wave, which is the longest and the strongly. This is what Elliott notated. This is what's been followed all along all the years. Now, but when we move over to precious metals, it has been found over time that it is the fifth wave that ends up being most of the time the longest and the strongest out of one, three, and five. That does not suggest that wave three can't be dynamic because it normally is. It's just that wave five can outdo it. Because normally, like what's at wave five? It's finishing a longer term pattern, right? You're doing one, two, three, four, five, and we got that longer term pattern going in. Let me go back out to this one. So as we can see, there's wave three. So if we're in wave five and it's going to outdo wave three, I don't think on that level, but it could do it on the larger levels. So the larger degrees that we have. So in other words, minor three, they're all working out to be where the third waves are very dynamic. So we haven't really seen them yet. And that's what's going to be important. So when we're working through, I can leave it there. When we're working through what our possibilities are, you can see we still have 4,500 and above. And I know some are going upwards there. I got them all. And then we still can get upwards of 53, 5,400 to 5,500. So 5,000 being a major level for gold. But right now, just to kind of, but you can see what we're getting into. Our intermediate degree, our primary degrees, our cycle degrees are the ones in the red. So that's getting up there. And the multipliers are quite high as we kind of keep moving up. The intermediate degree, I think, is the one that's going to come through, actually. So, but all the rest of these, as they work their way up, they will finish everything below or everything above as well. So we'll see how this all plays out. Right now, though, for the near term, I am continuing to look for the finishing of this small pullback. And again, let me bring it down to the daily and we can go inside. Small pullback, come back up in a five. Once that's done, I can connect wave one over to wherever wave four comes in and we'll get an idea for wave five. First off, I think 38.35 to 38.75 is a pretty good zone to complete. That's the four, complete this five and this five. So we'd be up to completing the minute, which sits here. So we got to finish everything in between, but I think this zone starts to put the top on, at least for the minute third wave. Back out here to this weekly chart, to the minute third wave. That's where we're looking, above 3,800. And we're not actually that far away from it. Plenty of things out there to create another spike up in gold prices, particularly if they're now looking for some really strong bullishness in Bitcoin. Oh boy, they are looking for this. And to start very soon, which also could propel gold at the same time. So again, what we're getting close to finishing here is this minuet fifth wave and that minute third wave. Now, once those are both in, that's where I think we can get to a point. And if we get up to 38, then we're looking for the pullback to come back to this fourth wave. And that brings us back to 30. The low is 3,300. So if we get up to like 38.75 or even above 3,800, we're talking about a 500-point drop to be corrective. Okay. So that doesn't, but if you're trading and you have long positions on, well, you're going to want to do some work to kind of either take some profit, let the market, if your long-term hold is as to leave a certain amount within gold, that sounds very smart to me, but protect yourself. Trade, be a trader, in other words. There's no reason to give up that much profit on a long-term position without either taking some of it or protecting against a downside move, at least over that short term to medium term. How long it takes to get down there? Well, sometimes it could take no time at all because the rallies have been very intense and very strong. So we can get a quick dump And gold and the precious metals known for doing that. Or or we get a little bit more. If it's a minute fourth wave, we can get another triangle pattern, which tend to hold things higher. And that would mean that the underlying trend, which still remains very strong, is really exerting a lot of pressure. The market's not going to come down because the buyers are going to step in. Okay, so that's the picture in gold. Moving averages are basically still all very much in alignment to go up. This is the weekly. And so this is the 5 year. 5 year weekly, and you can see there's the 8, there's the 20, there's the 50, there's the 200, very much in alignment, all still to go up. The 8 still just powering, following the market. The 20 now still rising with a big, stronger angle, along with the 50, along with the 200, all of them angling very strongly higher. So I'm still looking for a lot of play to the upside. But we need to allow that once we start getting up here with these extensions, the fourth wave would be expected. I mean, just under general Elliott guidelines, we're looking for it to come back to that previous fourth wave of one lesser degree. If we're coming down in a minute fourth wave, one lesser degree is minuet. And there it is, right where my cursor is. There's that low. Here's the box, actually, but there's the low. So, yeah, we have a chance. All right. Gold's still looking very good. All right, let's go over and take a look at silver. And silver also continuing to power up. I'm just going to stay here on the weekly because we're in this intermediate C wave up, which is a part of a larger, got to go out there one more time, which is part of the larger Y wave. So it's WXY. And you can see it's all going to consist of an ABC going up. And we're now just really powering up in the large section of this C wave. And it still projects, you can see this. Here's the Y wave projection. I mean, if it really goes full bore, we're at solid new highs, right? So here's the first. This is 2011. This is 1980. So that's $50. This is just below $50. And so we've kind of got this whole big box of resistance from 47, I'm going to call it, 49 to 51. And 51, of course, is new all-time highs for silver. And what's to stop it from spiking even further? And we can see that just from the past, that when this gets going, it spikes fast, but it also then spikes back down fast. So I'm not thinking that that's going to change very much unless the whole thing about silver, the whole underlying thoughts change on what's propelling it. You know, if silver becomes in strong demand and there's just not enough to go around, prices will skyrocket. But here again, I'm just going to start to bring this down. Let's bring it down to that 3 hours so we can see. Let me go one more. Let me go out to my 5 year weekly. There's the start of the C wave. It's going to be 5 waves of minor degree. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm the only thing I could probably add to here is that we do have a chance where this third wave is going to just extend and I'm going to move it up and it's going to just be a lot more upside potential. Right now, I'm kind of leaving it the way it is because it seems to mark out pretty cleanly and it's following decent Elliott and fibs on this way back up. So right now we're in a minor fifth wave to complete the intermediate C wave, which would then in turn complete that larger primary Y wave. And then what comes next would be another X wave, coming down off of that, another X wave. So this all can just carry on for a while and we'll see. But new all-time highs are still out there and should be expected in this marker, in this move here. Now, breaking it down, let's kind of bring it down. Let's go to the daily. Now we can come inside. Here's our fifth wave. Here's minute 1, 2. We're getting ready to possibly finish minute wave 3. But inside, we still have minuet wave 5 subdividing. And now we have sub minuet 1 and 2, and we're inside that third, looking for the fifth. Could be complete. Could be complete at Friday's highs or last week's highs, which are 43.04. I'm leaving open the potential that we might have one more little spike higher, and that gets up to this next level, which is 43.80. Not necessarily getting over 44 yet, but 43.80. And then we're coming, and then we put that fifth wave and we put the subminuet wave 3 up here. And you can see that's where that yellow, that goldish yellow marker is at 43.75. So if I can get that third wave there, then we get a fourth wave to come back again, holding above 40, because I only expect it to come back to like 41, maybe down to 40, but 41 should provide some strength. And then we go up again. So if that's going to be 3, then we come down into 4. We still have a fifth wave up. And then we're talking this territory, which is 44.50 to, we got a little bit more. But once I get this third and then fourth wave in, I can connect it over. And I'm sure we're going to come in here or above for this subminuet wave 5 and then the minuet fifth wave. Then we're finishing that minute third wave, and then we have a larger pullback. And again, whether this starts at 46, 47, or 46 up into these areas, or even a little bit higher, then what we're looking for, this is where we get another chance or possibility that we'll get a larger correction. So in other words, if we get up to 44, or we get up to 43.75, and we're finishing the threes to fours and this 5, well, then we'd be looking for the market, right? Or excuse me, one more. We're finishing minute 3, so that 5, and then it finishes minute 3. Then this minuet wave 4 becomes the support level for the minute fourth wave. And that would be, as in gold, the possibility that we'll get a larger pullback. So if we're going to go up to 43.75, the potential finishing this, the fifth, the third, coming back down, going back up, finishing this fifth up around 44.50, well, that raises the bar for how for the next larger correction. And that one, just if we're using the same Elliott guideline, the previous fourth wave comes in with a low at 36.30. So not all that bad, but if you're holding long and you got long in here, well, you got that possibility that it could come down very quickly, and silver in particular can get ugly real fast when there's a sudden market change. So that's actually the picture in silver. It doesn't look that bad. I'm still looking for upside. I think we can get up into here. And as long as we're holding above 41, I'm thinking that we're not done finishing these smaller waves. So we got that fifth, I think. Then we got a fourth that should hold above 41 or down to 41. And then we go back up to finish. This fifth finishes this third. We come back down into 4. We go back up to finish the fifth. And then we got this fifth up on top of it, and we got the third. So there's still a lot, but here's the zone. Here's the zone, and I leave that open. That's why I got this up here. We'll be able to add more to get breaks in between this level and this level to see where this all could end and then produce that a little bit larger pullback. So right now, still some additional upside. And then another correction, but I don't believe the upside is over. So those longer term projections of above 50 and getting up to new all-time highs, they remain in place for right now. All right, let's finish up and go on over to platinum, which again, this one, it doesn't really offer me any changes. I'm going to go out to my 3-week. Let me go out to my 5-year. And we can see we're in a intermediate C wave up. I got 1, 2, and 3, and the minor degree done. Wave 4, I'm still looking for. Now, this is continuing. Look at that. Every week, we're getting another green bar, which isn't suggesting correcting down. It's kind of holding itself up, but I don't have any reason to change this labeling, and I think the market still has the potential, or it could do a quick swing and drop down, well, first we have 1,297, but for the C wave, we got 12,071, 1,200, 1,271 down to 1,220, 1,820. So we got an A, B, C, and I still think the market will, as needing to go down, but it might wait for gold and silver to get into their next larger corrective phase, even for the near term, a larger corrective phase, and that's when this might finish it. What happens though if it goes above 1460? What is that high? Let me just get it up there. It's 1465. Well, then I have to think that the wave four finished here, maybe in a small failure, or here, and this is one, two, and that's a three, and this is a four, and we're going to come up in a fifth to finish the fifth wave. And I don't like that count. So I'd have to look at this inside to see really what it's kind of breaking down into, but it's just all green. It's just very hard to kind of find. I have to keep bringing it down to find like it is. And you can see this is three up. So is this one, two, and we're going to now start that stronger. So you can see it's still a B wave. One, two, we come down. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And here's our window to completion. Put the four over there, and then we rally strongly. And then I will be able to add one over to four, and then we'll get our levels for that fifth wave. But we continue to have this up here. For the C wave, yeah, 1600 and above. Okay, that actually is going to be it for platinum. Not a whole lot. Has a very small range, even though the intraday trading might be good, and that's what you're doing. I hope you're having some success there. But I'm still looking for a C wave to be put in and finish up. And that may take another week or two. Okay, that's going to be it. Let's keep them short and sweet and get it out there and get it published. Our next update will be next week.